Hello friends, I am CA Pankaj Deshpande, faculty for today, and today we are going to discuss about audit and other features of ERP, that is Enterprise Resource Planning. As all of us know, ERP is a type of software where almost all of the needs of any enterprise, any business house are taken care of. ERP basically stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. So we need a system, a software to manage all the resources of any type of enterprise and plan its utilization in an optimum way. So first of all, let us discuss something about today's content. Today's content are audit features, banking, MIS reporting, internet-based capabilities, data security, and lastly, to some extent, we are going to discuss something about GST also, that is goods and services tax. So first of all, let us start with the audit features. Whenever we talk about audit features in Tally ERP 9, there are two types of aspects. There are two aspects about it. One is quantitative audit and other is qualitative audit. Let us discuss both the aspects quickly. First of all, let us discuss about quantitative aspect of audit. Quantitative aspect, I mean to say that in this aspect we discuss more about quantity, that is number of transactions, number of vouchers, number of records, etc. So for that purpose, we need a Tally company. I have opened Tally software and I am opening one company. I am clicking on this select company button. This is one company available with us for some demo. I am opening this company from admin ID. The company is opened. To start using the basic Tally audit feature, that is the quantitative aspect of audit, we first of all need to go to company info screen. I am clicking on this company CNP info button on right hand side button bar. There is an option here, alter. I am going to this company alteration screen. This is regular company alteration screen. On right hand side you can check that there is an option use Tally audit feature. This option is already set to yes, and this option will be available to you only if the use security control option is set to yes. If use security control option is not set to yes, we will not get this option. For example, for the time being, I am setting it to no. As soon as I set it to no, all the options get disappeared. At present, I am not saving the data, so my audit feature is already on. What I will do now? Let us go to display menu. Display, then statement of accounts, and then Tally audit. Inside Tally audit there are three options: voucher types, masters and users. What is an audit basically? Basically audit is verification of data. Here we are talking about audit of financial data, and financial data is stored in two parts. The one part is called as master data and the another part is called as transaction data. What is the master data? Basically, master data is that data which is not expected to change frequently. So, ledgers, groups, stock items, stock groups, godowns, cost centers, these are the part of master data. Transactions can be sales transactions, purchase transactions, payment transactions, receipt transactions, journal transactions. These transaction data will keep on changing. For example, the total figure of sales keeps on changing on a day-to-day basis because transactions are recorded continuously. But if we create a ledger like sales ledger, we are going to create it only once, and we are not going to create it again and again every time we record a new sales transaction. So master data is a standard data, permanent data, not expected to change frequently. So while verifying the data, we have an option to verify master data, voucher types data, and user wise data. First of all, let us go to voucher types. Inside voucher types, what is there? These are the voucher types created in Tally, and these are the vouchers entered in these particular voucher types. For example, inside contra there are 6 vouchers. Inside contra AD there are 9 vouchers. Inside general there are 32 vouchers. Journal AD there are 3 vouchers, and so on. Under masters menu, let us check what is that. Inside masters there are ledgers basically. 433 ledgers are the ledgers created so far, and out of these 433 ledgers, 71 ledgers are altered. If we wish to check what are these 71 ledgers, we can check by pressing enter on this 71 number. Ledger name is displayed here on left hand side. After that, opening balance is displayed, and on right hand side we are getting altered by the username and the date of alteration. Now let us assume that we are starting our audit by auditing the master data first. This is basic audit feature provided by Tally quite long back, and it is available in Tally since last so many years. For example, this is shareholder 1. This is a ledger. If I wish to put a tick on this particular record, how I can put an electronic tick using Tally. On right hand side you can check there is one button, accept one F7. I am clicking on this button, accept one. As soon as I click on this button, this shareholder 1 ledger has gone, it is disappeared because it is audited, it is ticked. Now once again I am accepting this shareholder 2 by clicking on this accept one button. Then let us say let us accept one more ledger, that is Tata Teleservices Maharashtra Limited. I am accepting it once again. So this is the way of putting a tick, electronic tick on the ledger. Similarly, we can put an electronic tick on vouchers also. Let us now discuss something about auditing the vouchers, that is transaction data, how we can verify the vouchers in Tally. Once again, let us go to display, then statement of accounts, then Tally audit, and inside Tally audit we have an option to verify user-wise transactions. These are the users, and once again going back, users, I am pressing enter on this users option. Inside users there are certain users, username displayed, and beside username we are getting the information about the data, the record created by these users. The first column is for entered. These are the number of records entered, that is newly created by the users, and besides that we are getting information about the record that is altered by the user. So let us go to this Sonam first. Sonam has created this much number of records. Let us go to sales voucher. I am clicking on this sales voucher. I am opening. I am pressing Alt F2 and I am getting the complete list of sales voucher. Just like master record, that is the ledgers we audited, we can audit transaction data also by clicking F7 button on right hand side, that is accept one. There is one more button, accept all. You can click on accept all button to accept all the vouchers. I am selecting this voucher and I am clicking F7. This is again a way of putting an electronic tick on the record. I can open the voucher, I can check the correctness of this voucher with the relevant record, and by pressing escape I will come out of the screen and I will click on this accept one button. As soon as I click accept one button, the voucher disappears from the screen. The remaining vouchers, these are vouchers which are not audited so far. So I am getting a list of unaudited vouchers on a continuous basis. And what happens if somebody alters or modifies this voucher later on after the audit? If the voucher is audited and if it is altered by some user, it will reappear in the list of unaudited vouchers as altered vouchers. So we can track each and every change very minutely that is happening in our accounting system, accounting record. So this is something about the basic Tally audit, that is the quantitative aspect of audit. In this quantitative aspect of audit, we are verifying quantity of data, that is number of vouchers, how many vouchers are recorded, who has recorded, when this voucher was altered lastly. Such type of information is verified using this Tally basic audit feature. Tally provides one more way of auditing the data, and that is a quite comprehensive way of audit. It is a detailed way of audit. The basic lacuna or disadvantage of this basic Tally audit feature is that you can mark a voucher as audited, but you cannot put your remarks with that audit tick. If at all you wish to write something about this particular voucher, that this voucher needs more clarification or this voucher needs to be changed or checked, such type of remarks cannot be added at the time of audit. The second feature, that is a detailed audit feature, advanced audit features, or I am calling it as qualitative aspect of audit. In this feature, you can put remarks also along with your audit text. So let us discuss this particular feature now. Friends, we need to understand the meaning of qualitative aspect, the difference between quantitative aspect and qualitative aspect of audit. In case of quantitative aspect, we focus more on numbers, and in case of qualitative aspect, we focus more on something that is not related to numbers. For example, you are auditing TDS transactions of a particular company. You find that there are certain vouchers where TDS is not deducted. You find that there are certain vouchers where TDS is deducted but not deposited with the government. And there is one more aspect in this particular audit, that you find that there are certain vouchers where TDS is deducted, the amount of TDS deducted is also okay, it is also deposited with the government, but the problem is with date of deposit. It is deposited after the due date. So this particular aspect can be considered as qualitative aspect of audit. TDS is deposited, but it is deposited after the due date. You have filed the TDS return, but it is filed after the due date. So this is called as qualitative aspect, and we are going to discuss this feature now. Now let us go to Tally once again. On Gateway of Tally screen, you will find a menu here. The menu heading is audit, and beside under that menu heading, you are getting one menu as audit and compliance. I am going inside this menu. Inside this menu, there are 4 options: audit documentation, audit analysis, audit journals, and financial statements. Let us check all these options one by one. Audit documentation. If we go inside this audit documentation, we find certain menus like audit program, audit report, auditor's report, annexures to auditor's report, that is CARO, accounting standards, and standards on auditing. We can prepare our audit program here in this way. How we can prepare an audit report? The name of the firm. I am typing the name of the firm. Audit team. I can write the name of my team members. Client name. I can write the name of my client as company status, private limited company, industry type, number of branches, none, branch details. What type of area I would like to audit? These areas are predefined by Tally: balance variance, bank book vouching, cash book vouching, checking of outstanding and prepaid expenses, credit note, debit note, financial statements, and these can be assigned. We can, for example, let us say cash book vouching. How many days it will take? Let us say 2 days. Actual, how many days have been taken for this particular task? It can be specified here. Let us say 2. Extent of verification, how much we have verified? Let us say 100%. Verified by Amit and Shraddha. Verification remarks. Reviewed by and reviewers remarks. So such type of audit program can be prepared and monitored using Tally. I am sharing this information. Auditor's report, we can prepare auditor's report here. The standard text of audit report is given by Tally. If we wish, we can edit this text by pressing enter. Here I can change the text as per my requirement. I will not change the text now. I am pressing escape. So these are the different options available in this particular screen. This screen is not so important for us from the point of audit angle. The second option, audit and analysis, I think this is the most important menu in this out of the 4 menus. I am clicking on this particular menu and I am going inside it. Here you may check the audit period 1/4/17 to 31st March 18. Let us change the period first. Beginning of the year can be specified here. I am typing as 2016. So now the audit period is 16/17. These are the data analysis aspects of this particular report. Verification of chart of accounts. Normally the audit process starts with verification of chart of accounts. I am going inside this verification of chart of accounts. Let us see what is there inside this particular menu. Accounts squared off during the year. Accounts squared off during the year generally attract auditors' attention because many times mistakes or frauds are committed deliberately using the squared off accounts. Means there was some opening balance and the account was made zero at the end of the year. So there are 175 such ledgers. Out of these ledgers we have verified 4 ledgers and not verified there are 171 ledgers. I can press enter here. This is the list of all the ledgers where there are certain debit transactions, there are certain credit transactions, but the closing balance is zero. I can press enter on this air seal technology. I am pressing enter. I have an option to put this particular ledger on hold or change the status as verified. Let us say I am saying verified and I am typing OK. So this particular account is verified. One by one I can verify all the accounts. I can put my remarks and the number of ledgers verified will change accordingly. If I wish to verify more than one ledger simultaneously, this can also be done by clicking this button Alt F9 verify. I can click it, verify, I am putting my remarks and it's okay. So all these ledgers are verified. I was talking about putting the auditor's remarks using Tally software. So this is an example of putting auditor's remark in the software itself. That is, electronic tick is marked for this particular record and auditor's remarks are also put with the tick. I am pressing escape. You will observe that earlier it was verified 4, now it is verified 14, not verified 161. Not used. There may be certain ledgers which were not used during the previous year. Means there was no opening balance, there was no closing balance, there were no transactions at all. So these are the ledgers. These may be used in the previous year, squared off in the previous year, and now these ledgers are become redundant. So you may delete it if required, you may continue it if you require it. So this is just an information provided by Tally. Not used in the current year. 156 ledgers are there which are not used in the current year. I am pressing enter. These ledgers, there are no debit or credit transactions in these particular ledgers. So it is quite possible that these ledgers are not needed. So you may decide about whether to continue with these ledgers or to delete it. Only balances, no transactions. These are the ledgers where there are certain opening balances and there are absolutely no transactions recorded in these ledgers. So again, this is an option, this is an information given to the auditor to think about such type of data. Used only in current year. These are the ledgers newly created in the current year and used only in current year. These were not available in previous year. So this may attract auditors' attention because whenever there is a new record creation as far as master data is concerned, so auditor needs to understand the reason behind creation of a new ledger, why it was created. If it is a customer ledger, if it is a supplier ledger, then absolutely there is no problem. But normally we do not create expense ledgers or income ledgers every time newly. Old income ledgers, old expenses ledgers are continued mostly. So this was the first menu, verification of chart of accounts. Second menu, similar to chart of accounts, this is verification of stock items. The first menu, that is verification of chart of accounts, it was about accounting master data, and this particular menu, that is verification of stock items, it is about inventory master data. So are there any stock items having negative balance? It will be displayed here, negative stock. You will get negative stock information here. As far as audit is concerned, it is a serious matter when if there are any items showing negative stock, because theoretically negative stock is not possible at all. Practically we are saying in Tally that there are some items showing negative balances. It is quite possible that opening balance is either not entered or entered incorrectly. There may be some missing transaction of purchases. Sales may be recorded twice. This is quite possible. So ultimately there is some mistake due to which we are getting negative balance. So auditor needs to concentrate on such items and auditor needs to find out the difference, the reason behind this particular negative balance. Not used. There are certain stock items which are not used as well as not verified. Not used during the current year. I can press enter here, and just like verifying the ledger data, I can verify the stock item data also. I will select here. I can select multiple items by pressing space bar. Verify. I can click on this verify button and I can verify it. Okay. So this is verified. Now you will get 3 verified. Not used, there are 111 stock items, verified 3 and not verified 108. Not used in the current year. Only balances, no transactions, and used only in current year. So these are the options available here. Verification of balances. Earlier it was verification of start of accounts. Now it is verification of balances. Let us go inside this. This is nothing but trial balance in a detailed format. I am giving the trial balance. You can check the closing balance here. Debit transaction total and credit transaction total is same. I can go inside this capital account. Then I am going inside share capital, shareholder 1, shareholder 2. I can go inside here also. There are no transactions. There is only opening balance. Let us go to current assets and let us verify sundry debtors. I am going inside this current assets. Then sundry debtors. I am getting a complete list of all the debtors. Opening balance, debit transaction total, credit transaction total, and closing balance at the end. There is right hand side button bar, there is a button balance variance. I am clicking on this balance variance button. As soon as I click on this balance variance button, on left hand side I am getting a complete list of all the ledgers. Then here closing balance and transactions, that is closing balance, debit or credit closing balance for the year 31st March 2017, ending on 31st March 2017. And similarly on right hand side a comparative closing balance for previous year, that is 31st March 2016 is also displayed here. Variance is also displayed here on right hand side. So I can check what was the balance of this particular debtor in this year as well as compared to the last year. If I want to verify it, I can immediately verify it. I can press space bar on a particular line and verify. I can put any type of remark and enter it. This is verified. Similarly, I can select more than one ledger and I can verify all the ledgers simultaneously also. This is how we can do ledger verification. Now let us come to the next menu, that is analytical procedure. What is this? I am going inside this menu. Analytical procedure basically provides the facility to compare one thing with another thing. It may be a group with another group, cost center with another cost center with ledger, cost center with group with cost center, or anything. So let us compare ledger with ledger. Base, let us consider a ledger as sales at rate 13.5%. And let us consider it with the same ledger 13.5% for 2016-17 as well as 2015-16. Here we are able to get a comparative data. At present there is nothing on right hand side, that is 15-16 there is nothing, otherwise we would have got a comparative variance also. Pending documents. Let us come to this next menu. Pending documents. What is this? Let us go inside to check what is this pending document. Pending documents include purchase orders, pending purchase orders, pending sales orders, pending bills, that is goods received but bills not received, goods delivered but bills not made, net pending receivable and net pending payable. Tally ERP9 provides complete purchase order processing and sales order processing. So there may be a case where purchase orders have been booked, have been raised, but we have not received the goods so far. Purchase order is sent to the supplier, but we are yet to receive the goods. So these are the two cases. I am pressing enter on this. These are the two cases where purchase orders are sent to the supplier, but we have not received the goods so far. I am pressing escape. Similarly, sales order processing is also there in Tally. We can check how many sales orders are yet to be delivered. Means sales order are booked but delivery is not made. So these are the two cases, two orders where sales orders are booked but delivery is pending. Delivery of goods is pending. There may be a case we have received the goods but we have not received the purchase bill. So this is the case. Similarly, we have delivered the goods and we have not yet raised the bill on our customer. This is the case. Net pending receivable. Receivable from customers. Let us go inside this 84. So this is a list. This is a complete list of debtors with pending amount and pending bills. So in all, total 84 bills are pending from these debtors and amount is also displayed here. You can analyze this data very easily. Tally provides us a facility of auditing this type of data very easily. Pending payables, similarly there are 40 bills which are yet to be paid. This is a complete list of 40 bills and these bills can be verified very easily from this place. Now let us go to the next menu, that is statutory payments. I am going inside the statutory payments menu. Statutory menu includes service tax, tax deducted at source, tax collected at source, value-added tax, provident fund, employee state insurance, profession tax. So far, Tally has not introduced GST here. So let us wait for Tally to introduce GST also. If I wish to check service tax, I can go here and I can press enter. This service tax computation report is displayed. I can change the period of this computation. So let us say 1/4/17 to 30th June 17. Let us set this period. Let us set it to 1st July. This is the service tax computation report. Service tax liability, in all there is a liability of 89,492. I can press enter and go inside. So basically service tax computation report gets opened using this particular menu. Periodic payments and receipts. This is again a menu which provides facility to verify periodic payments. For example, we are making a periodic payment for rent every month. So you can verify periodic payments from here. Due to shortage of time, we are not going to discuss each and every menu in detail. Let us go to this repeated transactions menu. It is a very interesting menu. Many times it happens that a ledger may contain more than one transaction with the same amount. For example, rupees 1000 debited every month. There may be ECS, electronic clearing system. You are depositing, you are paying amount towards SIP, systematic investment plan of mutual fund, and every month you are depositing a constant amount, let us say 1000, 10,000 or whatever it may be. So such type of transactions can be easily identified and counted here. It does not mean that there is something fishy or there is a mistake and auditor's attention is needed in such area, but there may be a mistake. It is quite possible. So how many transactions are there of ₹1 in this particular round of ledger? There are 56 such transactions. If I press enter here, I will get a complete list of all the 56 transactions. So salary payable Nagpur, 5,000 rupees. So 5,000 rupees, this transaction is repeated for how many times? For 19 times it is repeated. So auditor's attention is needed here for such type of repeated transaction. and auditor need not put in his or her efforts to identify and count the number of similar or repeated transactions. Tally provides this information just on a click. Relative size factor. What is this relative size factor? It is again a very interesting thing for audit purpose. Relative size factor. It is a part of statistics and we have studied it in either CPT or CA foundation course. So what is relative size factor? The meaning as it goes, relative size factor. Relative means there is something relational. Let us go inside this relative size factor. How this can be used for audit purpose? Relative size factor is the relation of highest amount of transaction with second highest amount of transaction. Means, for example, there are 10 transactions in a particular ledger. Let us say electricity expenses. There are 10 transactions. Every month we are paying electricity bill of rupees 5,000 approximately. Sometimes it is 5,200, sometimes it is 5,400, sometimes it is 4,900 and so on. So, what is the relative size factor in this particular case? Let us consider the ledger. I am deliberately considering electricity expenses ledger. Why? Because there is an audit aspect inside this particular ledger. Electricity expenses normally remains constant. It may change according to season. For example, in the month of May, it may be little bit higher. In the month of November, it may be little bit lower. But normally, it is by and large same. Every month you are paying approximately 5,000 rupees as electricity bill. So what will be the relative size factor in this case? Relative size factor, as I have told you earlier, it is the ratio of highest amount of transaction with second highest amount of transaction. For example, the highest amount of electricity bill that you have paid in the month of May is rupees 5,500 and the second highest amount of electricity bill you have paid is rupees 4,500. So what will be the relative size factor? 5,500 divided by 4,500. It may be around 1 point something, 1.2, 1.3. So in this case, the relative size factor is between 1 and 2. What if, let us take a case. You find that electricity expenses, in case of electricity expenses, the relative size factor is 10. 10. What does it mean? Means the highest amount of transaction and second highest amount of transaction. There is a relationship, there is a proportion of 10. Means there is a transaction of rupees 50,000 debited to electricity expenses and this is the highest amount of transaction. The second highest amount of transaction is rupees 5,000. So 50,000 divided by 5,000 comes to 10. So the relative size factor is 10. What does it mean? Every month we are paying electricity bill of rupees 5,000. So relative size factor should be around 1 only. But when you find that the relative size factor is 10, it means that there is one abnormal transaction. So it is quite possible that the accountant has debited electrification expenses that should have been debited to fixed assets. Instead of debiting it to fixed assets, he has debited it to revenue expenses and considered it as regular electricity expenditure. So this needs auditor attention. So auditor will rectify this mistake and transfer the amount to fixed assets. So here in this particular report, you will observe that round off has got relative size factor of 253.70. So the relationship between the highest amount of transaction and second highest amount of transaction, the proportion is 253 times. Let us go inside. So here in this particular transaction, we have rounded off 900 rupees and second highest amount of transaction is 3.55. All other round of transactions are of rupees 1 or so, rupee 1 or so. So why we have rounded off rupees 900? What was the need? So it needs auditor attention, internal observation or external clarification. We can write out. We can put the remarks as shown here. I am pressing enter. The audit note will appear here. So this is the use of relative size factor. You can audit the data very easily. The relative size factor will be calculated by Tally only. You need not put in your efforts and time to calculate relative size factor. Very useful and handy feature by Tally. Other analysis. There are certain other aspects of other analysis. Interbank transactions, cash withdrawals, deposits to bank, fixed asset analysis, transactions on holiday, highest and lowest value transactions, pending advances, stale check instruments, external confirmation, account reconciliation. These are the options available here. Let us go to each option one by one. Interbank transactions. How many interbank transactions are there? The most important point to be observed here by the auditor is number of days delayed. These are the days. Why there is a delay? If it is a delay of around 3 to 4 days, it is okay and it is acceptable because this much amount of time is required to clear a check in a particular bank. We are transferring amount from our one bank account to another bank account. But when this delay is more than 10 days, 15 days or so, this is something which needs auditor's attention. Cash withdrawals to deposit. So there are three banks: ICICI Bank Amravati, ICICI Bank Nagpur, and ICICI Bank, IOB, Indian Overseas Bank. I am opening this particular transaction. Number of days delayed: 339. So there is something fishy here in this case, because when we are depositing or withdrawing money from bank, our transaction date and bank transaction date should always be the same. We are depositing cash into bank today, the bank must record it today itself. If we are withdrawing cash from bank, bank must record the transaction on today and we also must record the transaction on today. There is a gap of 339 days. What is the reason behind this gap? Now it is the job of auditor to find out the reason and to report the matter to the management. So these are the cases. Fixed asset analysis. You can analyze the transactions recorded in fixed assets very easily. All the fixed assets are displayed here. Number of days, less than 180, more than 180, opening balance, additions in the fixed assets, deletions or adjustment in the fixed assets. You can have overall bird's eye view on transactions in fixed assets very easily with the help of this report. Transactions on holiday. For every type of business, there may be their own holiday calendar. So you can record the holidays here by pressing Alt-C, holiday configuration. Weekly off can be defined here. Let us say weekly off is Sunday. There may be more than one weekly off. And you can record the holidays also. For example, we are recording the holidays as 15th August. We will record any holiday. For example, let us say 1st January, let us record the holiday. It is by default Sunday. So let us record 2nd January as holiday. Office Foundation Day, it is the holiday. So if there are any transactions on this particular date, it will be identified. 2nd January, Office Foundation Day. It is again a matter of concern for auditor that when there was a holiday for office, why you have recorded transaction on this particular date. It is not necessary that there is something fishy in this transaction, but definitely it needs auditor's attention. Highest and lowest value transaction, the next menu. This report shows you all the ledgers along with the highest amount recorded in a particular ledger and lowest amount recorded, along with the difference and difference range, that is different range percentage. So in this particular case, Ashish Karule, highest and lowest amount is same, that is 12,200. But in this particular case, Abrar Ahmed, the highest amount of transaction is 6,900 and lowest amount is 600. So the difference is 6,300 and percentage is 1,050. Again, it is a very useful report to identify if there is any mistake, any fraud, anything that is needed to be paid attention by auditor. Pending advances. Loans and advances assets. This is the group and the ledgers inside this particular group are displayed here. You might have paid advance to a particular person and that advance is yet to be adjusted, yet to be closed. So these advances will be displayed here. Stale check oblique instrument. I am opening this menu. I am opening ICICI Bank ledger. So there are two transactions of receipts which are yet to be cleared in bank. We have recorded these transactions, but these are not yet cleared in the bank, and the days passed 349 and 101. So after 3 months period, after 90 days of period, every transaction, every check or every instrument will become stale. It is useless. So these are the transactions, these are the deposit transactions which are not recorded in bank, but we have recorded it and yet to be reconciled. So these are the stale check or instruments. External confirmation, that is third party confirmation. It is a matter of concern for auditor whether the balances of debtors and creditors are reconciled or not. This can be identified and listed from this menu. I am opening this menu. This menu shows us a list of all the sundry creditors and all the sundry debtors. This is a list. Closing balance is displayed here. Mark for confirmation can be marked here. Confirm balance, difference and remarks. Everything can be written here. For example, I am clicking spacebar here on this particular ledger and I am marking it for confirmation. The last menu of this particular other analysis menu is account reconciliation. I am going inside this account reconciliation. Inside account reconciliation, I am again getting the same list, that is list of all debtors and creditors, reconciled and unreconciled. These are the amount of transactions. So far there is no account reconciled here. So what we can do to reconcile? I can open any particular ledger, import file path with file name. I can insert the transactions from Excel file into this report and the Tally will automatically reconcile all the debit and credit transactions in a particular ledger, our ledger and with party ledger. That is quite possible. I am pressing escape here and coming out of the screen. This was all about data analysis. Now what about the voucher verification? We can verify the voucher from this menu. We can sample the voucher as per our requirement. So I am pressing enter here. This is the list of all the vouchers. I have sampled some voucher types. I can sample it with different sampling methods. I can audit the transactions. I can audit the vouchers similarly just like master data. For example, I am opening this 40 number of vouchers. I am opening this. I am opening once again the voucher. I am putting my remarks here and I am accepting it. So this is the way of auditing the data, master data as well as transaction data. Tally has provided this very good feature of auditing. So many types of information, can be unearthed for audit purpose very quickly, very easily using this audit feature. Let us now move to the next topic, that is banking. Inside banking, what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss check printing, check register, bank reconciliation, deposit slip, payment advice and post-dated summary. Friends, on Gateway of Tally you will get a menu under utilities. This is the utilities menu option, menu heading, and inside utility you will get a menu as banking. Inside banking, these are the 6 options: check printing, check register, bank reconciliation, deposit slip, payment advice and post-dated summary. Let us go to check printing first. I can check the check printing status of each bank account one by one. This is IndusInd Bank. I am getting check printing, pending checks for check printing. I have not printed checks for these transactions. There are 6 such transactions for which check printing is pending. You can click this show all button to get a complete list, or you can hide printed. Second is check register. This is again a very useful menu. It shows statistical information of all the checks of all the bank accounts. I am having this much number of bank accounts. and inside these bank accounts there are some information is displayed here. Available checks, total available checks, unreconciled checks, reconciled checks, blank check, cancelled check, out of the period check, and post-dated checks. Post-dated checks are 93. I am pressing enter on this 93. These are the list. This is the list of all the checks. Bank reconciliation. This is a regular bank reconciliation menu. It is otherwise also available in Tally. You can open the bank ledger and press F5 to reconcile it. This is the bank reconciliation statement. Let us go to some ledger where there are certain transactions. This is a simple bank reconciliation statement. You can put the bank date here and reconcile the transaction. Deposit slip, check deposit slip and cash deposit slip. These are the two options available in deposit slip. I can open this check deposit slip by pressing enter. Let us go to this IndusInd Bank. Whether I have printed a deposit slip for these transactions, I am getting a list of such transactions where I have not printed a deposit slip. Deposit slip can also be printed through Tally. After you record the transaction of check deposit into bank, you can print a deposit slip from Tally. Now let us go to this menu, payment advice. What is there? What is that inside this particular menu? Payment advice is used for informing the supplier about the details of bills adjusted against a particular payment. I am opening this particular ledger. Inside this ledger there are certain transactions of payment. I am opening this transaction and I am printing this transaction. This 87,508, this payment was made to supplier against 4 different kinds of bills, and 4 different bills are adjusted using this payment. I am pressing print button to print this voucher. Print payment advice, I am saying yes. Payment advice date, let us set the date as 31st August. Include bill details, I am saying yes. There are various other options, but for the time being, I am just having a print preview of this particular transaction. I am pressing F4 to zoom it. Now this is payment advice. Now my supplier knows the details of bills adjusted, purchase bills adjusted by me against this payment. So there is no confusion now, and it is very easy and convenient for my supplier to reconcile his party ledger also. So this is the use of payment advice menu. I am coming to Gateway of Tally once again. Let us move to the next topic, that is MIS reporting. MIS stands for Management Information System. Management for taking various types of business decisions require a lot of information on a regular basis. Mostly it is monthly basis. Some information is required on weekly basis, and sometimes it is even needed on daily basis. So what type of MIS reports are available in Tally ERP9? Let us discuss. There are certain reports. As far as MIS is concerned, there are certain reports for receivable, payable, cost center reports, ratio analysis, cash/fund flow, and exception reports. So now let us discuss these menus one by one. Let us go to this display menu, display, then statement of accounts, outstanding, and receivable. Inside this menu, you can select the group. I am selecting sundry debtors, and I am getting a list of all the pending bills, that is receivables, under the group sundry debtors. I am getting the column heading as date, reference number, party's name, pending amount, due on and overdue by date. This particular report is arranged in decreasing overdue days order. For example, 2399, the bill, 2,700 rupees bill is overdue since last 2,399 days. If I go to the bottom, I will get the bill which is overdue for a very less number of days. It is 224 still. Here there is a button, bill party wise. I can click on this button and I will get party wise total, party wise list of all the bills pending. For example, these are the 2 bills pending for one party, that is Burani Polychem Private Limited. Similarly, I can get age wise also, aging by bill date or aging by due date. Let us go to aging by bill date. I can decide my aging period 0 to 30 days, 30 to 60 days and 60 to more than 60 days. I can get a view like this. Let us go to bill wise. This is the list. So total pending amount less than 30 days, 30 to 60 days and more than 60 days. At the same time, I am having one more option, that is configure here. I can change the view, I can modify the report by clicking on this configure button. There are so many options available, include post-dated transactions, show bills in foreign exchange, show opening amount, show due on, show overdue days oblique age of bill in days, show overdue using bill date, range of bills to show. So many options are available here. Appearance of name, I can change the appearance of name, as well as I can modify the sorting method. Amount decreasing, amount increasing, currency increasing, decreasing. Party wise A to Z or Z to A, reference number decreasing or increasing. So many options are available to modify this report and to get the information as per our requirement. Similar to this report, this is receivable report. Similar to this report, there is a payable report. Once again, let us go to this menu, display, then statement of accounts, outstanding, and instead of receivable, let us go to payable. Now I will select sundry creditors. Satpute Graphics is the first ledger because it is overdue. The more number of days are overdue here, 1720. I will change the sequence, press enter, and sorting method. Party A to Z. Now Aditya Scientific Arts is appearing first. So these are the outstanding bills payable. We have checked receivable, we have checked payable. Now cost centers report. Let us go to cost center. First of all, let us understand the meaning of cost center. What is a cost center? Cost center or a profit center is another dimension given to every transaction. Every transaction will contain date, the amount, narration, debit ledger, credit ledger. Let us assume that we are having three different departments in which we are dealing into. There are three verticals in our business. One, we are selling cement. Second, we are selling gold. And third, we are selling footwear. So these are the three different segments, these three different departments or these three different verticals, and we wish to identify the profitability of each department independently. All the three departments are owned by one single company, one single entity. So legally there will be only one profit and loss account. But for the purpose of management reporting, the management is interested in knowing the profitability of each department, the debtors of each department, the stock of each department, that is each vertical. So it is needed. So for this purpose, we can put a separate mark on each voucher for the particular vertical. For example, there is a sales voucher. We can put a mark on every sales voucher for each vertical. For example, this is cement sale, this is footwear sale, and this is gold sale. What Tally can do for you? Tally can identify all the ledgers with a particular mark. Mark, that is the cost center. In Tally language, it is called as cost center. So we will put a mark on each voucher as cement or footwear or gold. So Tally will do the work of segregation of vouchers. All the sales voucher relating to cement will be segregated at one place. All the sales voucher relating to footwear, all the sales vouchers relating to gold will be segregated, and a separate profit and loss account will be prepared by Tally for each vertical. Cement profit and loss account, footwear profit and loss account, and gold profit and loss account. These three profit and loss accounts will be prepared by Tally differently, and you will be in a position to identify or know the profitability of each vertical. How it can be done? Let us go to display, then statement of accounts, and then cost center. Inside cost center, there are four options: category summary, cost center breakup, ledger breakup, or group breakup. Let us go to category summary. These are the different cost centers, and we are able to view the transactions recorded against each cost center. For example, audio video. This is one division, one cost center, and inside audio video, there are certain debits and certain credits. So I am opening this. So these are the different transactions recorded using the cost centers. This is one menu about cost center, then cost center breakup. We are having different types of cost centers. So let us go to this training. Inside this cost center training, indirect income and indirect expenses, there are certain transactions recorded for a particular period. So we are in a position to identify all the debits and all the credits recorded with a particular cost center. Ledger breakup, for example, let us go to sales at the rate 13.5. Audio video, this particular division, this particular vertical is having sales of rupees 2,78,000. I can change the ledger. Now inside this particular ledger, sales at the rate 6%, there are two different cost centers. One is Nagpur, other is Tally sales. If I want to check for a particular group, I can check it from this menu, group breakup. Let us say sales account. Sales account is a group in Tally. Sales account contains two cost centers, one audio video and another Nagpur. Inside Nagpur there is one cost center, sub cost center, that is Tally sales. So I can get all types of figures according to each vertical using cost center menu. Next option is ratio analysis. Ratio analysis is again a very powerful and useful tool for every auditor to identify the ratio. MIS reporting, in case of MIS reporting also, ratio analysis is very conveniently used. It is really useful report prepared by Tally. Let us go to ratio analysis. On Gateway of Tally itself, you will get a menu called as ratio analysis. Inside this menu, ready-made ratios are displayed by Tally for the use of management, working capital, cash in hand, bank accounts, bank OD. Some static information is given here. And on right hand side you will get ratio. Current ratio, it is 10.95:1. Quick ratio 7.59:1. Debt to equity ratio 1.60:1. Gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, operating cost percentage, receivable turnover in days, return on investment, return on working capital. Everything is displayed here ready-made. So you can just go to this report and check the ratios. Next menu is cash/fund flow. Again, it is a very important aspect of MIS reporting because management of any business will be interested in knowing its liquidity position. How much cash is generated during the previous month, during the previous quarter or during the previous year. So cash/fund flow, there are two reports in Tally. One is called as cash flow, other is called as fund flow. Let us go to these reports. I am going to display. Inside display, there is a menu here, cash/fund flow. I am going to this menu. Inside this menu, cash flow and fund flow, these are the two different ratios. What is the meaning of fund? Basically, fund means the working capital, current assets less current liabilities. The figure is called as fund. So what was the movement of fund during a particular period is displayed in this particular report, fund flow report. Cash flow, what is this report? Cash flow report will show you the movement of cash for a particular period. April, May, June, July, August, this is a particular period. You can check here that there was an inflow of 9,16,007 rupees and there was an outflow of 6,82,414.17. So the net flow is 2,33,592.83. This is monthly position. If I want to check it in detail, there is a button here, detail. I can click on this button. So from unsecured loan, we have received 4,26,700. From deposits, we have received 50,000. From funded debtors, we have received 3,80,000 and so on. So this is inflow. On left hand side, you will get inflow. On right hand side, you will get outflow. And at the bottom, you are getting net flow of funds. Sorry, net flow of cash. Now here, please note that cash includes bank transactions also. So all the ledgers of cash and all the ledgers of banks are clubbed here. All the transactions are clubbed here. And Tally prepares a report of inflow and outflow using all the transactions of cash and bank. Now let us go to fund flow. I am opening this report. This is a movement of working capital. Inside this report, at the bottom you will get current assets, current liabilities and working capital. So this was the position of opening balance of current assets. This is closing balance of current assets, and this is working capital increase. So working capital increase, the net working capital increase is 3,21,101.65. If you want to check details, the detailed button is available here. You can click here and get the details. The last option in this particular MIS reporting which we are going to discuss is exception reports. Management is always interested in knowing about exceptions. Are there any exceptional things in accounting? So these exceptional things are reported in exception reports in Tally. If you want to check exception reports, you can go to display, and the last report is exception reports. What is there inside exception reports? Negative stock. Are there any stock items showing negative balance? I am opening this report. I am getting 2 items showing negative balance. Negative ledgers means ledgers that should have debit balance. For example, a debtor account should always have a debit balance, but instead of it, sometimes it may have credit balance also. If a debtor account is having a credit balance, it is a matter of concern for auditor as well as management also. Normally, a debtor account should not have a credit balance unless and until some advance is received. But here you can check the cases where there are certain credit balances of debtors. Similarly, a creditor should not have a debit balance. If there is a debit balance in credit account, it is again a matter of concern for management, and management must know reasons behind it. So this information is clearly evident from this report, that is negative ledger. Negative batch. When you are doing batch-wise accounting, you can check whether there are any negative batches, means the production in a particular batch is 100 units and we have sold 120 units out of that particular batch. It is possible practically, but it is not theoretically possible. So there seems to be some mistake in case of negative batch. Similarly, overdue receivable, overdue payable, memorandum vouchers, reversing journals, optional vouchers. Optional vouchers are those vouchers in Tally which does not affect trial balance. So these are the vouchers kept outside the accounting system, and these vouchers can be brought back to regular accounting system, and these can made to affect the trial balance also. Cancelled vouchers are the vouchers which are recorded and later on cancelled. Post-dated vouchers are the vouchers where a mark is put as post-dated. Let us go inside this and let us check, are there any vouchers? We have post-dated vouchers. Yes, there are certain vouchers. We can put a mark of post-dated in Tally. This is post-dated mark. If you wish to remove this mark, there is a button here, current. By pressing current, we can remove the mark. By clicking on this post-dated voucher, again we can get it as post-dated. The post-dated vouchers are not considered for one particular date that I will show to you. This is date of last entry. Post-dated vouchers are not considered for date of last entry. Let us go to exception report once again. And last option is email IDs. I can go inside this email IDs and I can check the personal accounts where I do not have email IDs. These email IDs can be put, and once I put the email ID, the ledger will disappear from here. So these are the exception reports. Now let us move towards the next point in today's discussion, that is internet-based capabilities. Tally ERP9 provides a lot of internet-based capabilities which we are going to discuss right now. Remote login, emails, control center and support center. These are some of the features which we are going to discuss right now. What is remote login? Remote login is a feature where you can access the Tally data stored anywhere in the world remotely. For example, you are sitting in Mumbai and your office data is stored in Delhi. So if you wish to access the data stored in Delhi sitting from Mumbai, it is possible quite with the help of Tally. So how it is possible? Basically what we need valid Tally license at one location where data is stored. In our case, the data is stored in Delhi, we are sitting in Mumbai. We need not have a valid Tally license in the computer from which we wish to use remote login. so you can work in educational mode also. The data stored in Delhi must have a valid license. From there you need to connect the company, and from Mumbai computer you can go to this login as remote user. A Tally.net ID is required and password is required. I am typing the user ID and password. Internet connection is obviously required. As soon as I press enter and my user ID and password is validated, I will get a list of online and offline companies. At present, no company is online. List of offline companies available with me. If there is any online company, you can just press enter and open that company. You will be able to view the data. You can record the transaction. You can take printout depending on the access given to you by administrator. So full access can also be given. So all the activities can be done using remote login. It may be recording of transactions, modification of transactions, creation, alteration, deletion of master data, or taking printouts. Anything can be done remotely by using remote login feature. Second point in this section is emails. If you wish to send any report, Tally report to somebody else through emails, how it can be done? Normally what people do, for example, if you wish to send balance sheets to your friend, to your auditor, to your subordinate, whosoever he or she may be. If you wish to send balance sheet, what you can do? You can go to Tally. You can export the Tally balance sheet to Excel, PDF or JPEG. Then you can open your email account with user ID and password. Then you can write the email and then you can attach the file and send the email. But instead of doing this can be done through Tally only. Let us now go to the Tally and let us check how it can be done. For example, this is the report balance sheet. What I can do, there is a button here, email. I am clicking on this button. I am selecting my server address. Gmail, Hotmail and Yahoo Mail, these three options are given by Tally by default. If you are using some other email ID, some other email server, it can be defined here. User defined, you can type your server address here. For the time being, I am taking Gmail. Use SSL port, by default it is yes. Use SSL on standard port, no. Then you can type the name from whom the email is received. This is the company name. From email ID, you can type your own email ID. Username authentication, that is the text before @ sign should be typed here. Now you can type the password for your email ID. Select the format, JPG, PDF as per your requirement. Let us select the PDF. You can select the paper size, portrait or landscape. These options are available. These are the email IDs available in Tally. You can use these email ID or you can type a new email ID for the time being. For example, I have typed this email ID. CC or BCC can also be selected. Subject, I can type the email text here, email body. Attach file name, the name of the file is balance sheet PDF. You can define the scale factor for values, show base currency symbol. These are options available in Tally. For the time being, we will ignore and we can just go to the last point. We can press enter and automatically the email will be sent. This is so simple, you can very easily and effectively use emails through Tally. Third point in this section is control center. What is control center? Control center is the way of administrating Tally software. You can do lot of administrative activities using control center. Now let us go to Tally and check how we can use control center. We are at gateway of Tally screen. On horizontal button bar, there is a button here, control center. I am clicking on this control center button. You need a valid Tally.net ID and password for using control center. I am typing the password and I am pressing enter. Obviously the internet connection must be on. Licensing and configuration. profile management, user management, company delegation, change administrator accounts. These are the options available. For example, let us go to license management. We can open this license management. If we wish to surrender our Tally license, it can be surrendered from here itself. At present, the status of license is active. I am clicking space bar here. I can change the status to surrendered, and if I press enter here, the license will be surrendered from here. This license activation and surrendering, this can be used for shifting Tally license from one computer to another computer. I am pressing escape. I am coming out of this menu. So this is control center, which can be used for management of Tally software. The last point in this section is support center. Support center is a way of offering help to Tally users by Tally Solutions Private Limited. Through support center, you can raise a ticket for support. This ticket will be tracked by you as well as Tally until it is answered satisfactorily. You can track the ticket number and you can get support from Tally people. Next section is data security. What we are going to discuss in data security: access control, Tally Vault, and disallow opening in educational mode. These are the three ways of using or protecting data in Tally. How we can protect the data? Tally provides its user a versatile, flexible, and a very powerful access control system. If we wish to protect our accounting data, we can protect it by two ways. One is by controlling physical access to the data, and second is controlling electronic access to the data. Physical access is something out of Tally, so physical access needs to be controlled physically. For example, locking the server room or locking the server itself physically. We are discussing about electronic access control. So how we can control the electronic access to the data? There may be or there shall be different levels of user of accounting systems. For example, there is a data entry operator whose job is to just record the transaction. He just records the transaction and he is not concerned about reporting. Then there is accountant, a senior person who is recording transaction as well as modifying it to some extent. There is one up level, another level that is called as manager, and there is one more level that is called as CFO, CEO, etc. So different levels of users are there and access is to be given to different users according to their levels. How we can control the access, how we can define the levels, let us discuss. For example, I am clicking on this CMP info, that is company info button. I am going to security control, and inside security control these are the three menus. Users and password. I can create different users. For example, you may see I have created different users. These users can be created here and different security level can be assigned to users. For example, Mayura has been assigned data entry, Pankaj has been assigned manager, and there is one more level that is called as view. How these levels can be defined? Let us go to types of security menu. Let us go to manager. What is available for manager and what is not available for manager? I can define the security level here. For example, name of security level is manager, use basic facilities of owner, days allowed for backdated vouchers I can specify here, it is 365 days. Cut-off date for backdated vouchers, a user cannot go beyond this particular date. Set/alter rules for print before save. I can prevent printing a voucher before it is saved. That is possible in Tally. By default it is allowed. Allowed to override tax details, allowed to connect company, use Tally.net authentication. These are some basic options available here. Now what types of facilities should be allowed to this particular security level? On left hand side we are getting disallow the following facilities, and on right hand side we are getting allow the following facilities. For example, what we can do, if we wish this user not to modify any type of master data, what we can give here, that is create alter accounts master. Now in this case, this particular security level user will not be able to create or alter any type of ledger or group or any type of accounting master data. Now I wish to prevent backdated alteration or creation. So I can do what? Create alter backdated vouchers. This is possible. If I want to disallow printing access, print vouchers. So voucher printing will be disallowed for this particular user. On left hand side I will disable and on right hand side I will enable. So this is the way of setting a security control for a particular security level. I am pressing Ctrl A to accept. One more option is available in Tally, that is called as password policy. Password policy screen is displayed here. Here I can set the password policy for the company. For example, the minimum password length, it is 1. Now I am setting it as 8. Specify advanced parameters for password length, yes or no. These two options are available. Minimum number of alphabets, let us say 2. Minimum number of numeric characters, let us say 2. Minimum number of special characters, let us say 1. Password expires after, let us say 60 days. Notify users before password expire, yes. Notify before, let us say 7 days. Restrict use of old password, yes. The old password will not be used again till the time it is changed. Number of old passwords to be restricted, let us say 3. So once you set 3 different passwords, once again at the time of 4th change, you can use the first password. That is quite possible. Change the password on first login, yes. Allow users to change the password, yes. Now the users will be allowed to change the password. This is how we can set the password policy. Password policy is set for this company. Second point in this section is Tally Vault. What is Tally Vault? You might have heard about safe deposit vaults in banks. Safe deposit vaults in banks are used for keeping valuables in a safe that is kept with banks. The valuables like gold ornaments or cash may be kept in safe deposit vault by people, by customers of the bank. So Tally Vault is a way of securing data through encryption. How we can use Tally Vault? This is gateway of Tally screen. I am clicking CMP info button and I am going to this change Tally Vault button. I am opening this menu. I am setting a password for this company. Repeat new password. A new company will be created and that company data will be encrypted. Now the company is being created. Please remember, if you use change Tally Vault menu, a new company is created and the old company remains as it is. You are getting a message here, created new company, the number of this company is 10,000. Press any key. Now I am clicking F1 button. On clicking F1 button, I am getting this particular option. Earlier there was only one company name, that is ABC Consulting Private Limited. Now there are two names. If I wish to open this company, Tally Vault password is asked to me. I am typing the password that was already set. Now this company is already open. I am setting the company first. Now I am typing the password. Here it is 2-level protection. Earlier it was only 1-level protection. Now I need to enter passwords at 2 levels. First Tally Vault password and then the regular password. Now only I am able to open the company. This is another way of protecting the Tally data. Third point in this section, data security, that is disallow opening in educational mode. Many times it is quite possible that some people may take your Tally data out of your office and they may read the data at home. Tally works in educational mode also, but you can prevent your company to open in educational mode. The Tally data will be opened in such cases with a valid Tally license only. How this can be done? I am back to gateway of Tally screen. I am once again clicking this CMP info button. Then alter menu. I am opening this company alteration screen and the last option on right hand side is disallow opening in educational mode. If this option is set to yes, what will happen? This company will not open in educational mode of Tally. To open this company, user will need a valid Tally license only. So unless and until a user is having valid Tally license, he will not be able to open it even if he or she is having user ID and password. So This is how we can protect the data in one more way. Goods and service tax. It is a very hot topic today, and we have come to the last section of today's discussion. So what we are going to discuss in goods and services tax in Tally? We are going to discuss about settings, accounting and e-filing. Due to paucity of time, we are covering this topic very quickly in a brief. So let us discuss what is available in goods and services tax in Tally. Before we start using GST in Tally, we need to activate GST. How GST can be activated? On right hand side button bar there is a button F11 features. I am clicking on this button. Then statutory and taxation. The first option is goods and services tax. Enable goods and services tax GST, and I have set it to yes. The second question, set alter GST details. I am setting it to yes. State, I need to select the state. Registration type, regular only. This is the only option given by Tally. At present, composition option is not available. I need to put my GST number, applicable from, set alter GST rate. I can set the GST rate here. Enable GST classification, provide LUT/bond details. As far as possible, this is applicable in case of exports only. So I am setting it to no and I am accepting it. I need to accept this screen also. Once I accept this screen, my GST setting, the GST activation is done. Now what I need to do? I need to create sales ledger, purchase ledger, GST ledger, party ledger. So these ledgers are to be created now. How I can create? For example, let us go to accounts info, ledgers and create. Let us create a sales ledger. Sales footwear. Under sales account, set alter statutory details. I am setting it to yes. Is GST applicable? Yes. Set alter GST details. I can go here, but I need not change anything here. We can just have a look at it. We can apply GST to sales ledger, all income ledgers as well as all expense ledgers. I am pressing Ctrl A to accept. What is the type of supply? It is goods or services. I am setting it to goods and I am accepting this scheme. This is how we can create sales ledger. Similarly, we can create a purchase ledger also, and we have to create GST ledgers also. I am going to the ledgers already created, accounts info, ledgers and alter. I have already created this ledger CGST. Under duties and taxes, type of duty GST and type of tax, that is central tax. We need not specify any rate here because rate will be specified in inventory. If we are using inventory accounting, then you can specify the rate in inventory. If we do not use inventory accounting, then we have to specify the rate in sales ledger or purchase ledger. I am pressing Ctrl A. Just like CGST, I can create SGST ledger also. I should create SGST ledger. Under duties and taxes, type of duty GST, state tax, and no need to type any rate here. I am pressing enter and accept. Similarly, one more ledger is to be created, IGST. This is the ledger. The difference here is integrated tax only. This is the only difference. I am accepting this thing. Now once this is done, your GST settings are over. You can directly create a bill now. What types of reports are available as far as GST is concerned in Tally? Let us go to display, then statutory reports and then GST. At present, GSTR1, GSTR2 and 3B, these are the reports available in Tally. Let us go to GSTR1. I am setting the period as 1st July to 31st July. Your GSTR return can be generated from Tally itself. You can download the Excel template, Excel utility from the website gst.gov.in, and you can put all your return information using Tally only. This is GSTR1. Now let us go to GSTR2. Just like GSTR1, you can prepare GSTR2 also. Once again, I am changing the period as 31st July to 31st July. This is the list of B2B invoices. 27 invoices are there, and these 27 invoices, all information regarding these 27 invoices will be copied to the Excel template, Excel utility given by gst.gov.in. So, as all of us know that we need to put bill-wise information, HSN code-wise information in GSTR1 and 2. So, this information will be captured by Tally during data entry, and it will be transferred to Excel file as it is without any hassle, without any difficulty. It will be transferred very easily. GSTR 3B is available in Tally. It is applicable only for the months of July and August 2017. Later on it will not be applicable, but still Tally has given this option. Once again, I am changing the period as 1st July to 31st July. So GSTR 3B can also be generated from Tally. On right hand side button bar there is a button print return. You can print the return from here, and you can put the information as it is on the GST portal. So this is the information. So you just need to put this information on GST portal, because GST portal does not provide any Excel utility for GSTR 3B. So this is GSTR 3B. Challan reconciliation can also be done from Tally itself. We can set the period once again as 31st July, 1st July to 31st July. There are no payment vouchers in this case, so Challan reconciliation can also be done. GST rate setup. This is another menu available in Tally. You can set up the rate for every stock item, and you can have a view of all the rates in this particular report. The last option in GST reports is GST update party GST. Let us go to sundry data, and I can check the ledger names where I don't have any GST number available. So these are the ledgers where I do not have registration type as well as GST number. So very easily I can put GST number here and update my party information, party master data. GST is in the process of development, so Tally is also in the process of development. As soon as the changes are made by government, Tally is incorporating these changes in the software. So at present, the GST feature in Tally is not fully matured. It is yet to be matured, and gradually it will be matured. So friends, we have come to an end of today's session. So let us have a quick recap of what we have discussed today. Today we discussed about audit features, banking, MIS reporting, internet-based capabilities, data security, and GST. So in audit features, we discussed about the basic audit feature, that is quantitative audit, where we were able to put a tick on the voucher, that is transaction rate data and master data. Secondly, we discussed about qualitative aspect of audit, that is advanced audit feature made available by Tally, where we are able to do so many things. We are able to analyze data, we can put remarks, we can segregate the data, we can sample the data. So many options are available. After audit feature, we discussed about banking. In banking, check printing, check register, bank reconciliation, deposit slip, payment advice, and post-dated summary. Payment advice, we have seen that it is a very useful method of letting our supplier know that we have made payment against these purchases. MIS reporting, MIS stands for Management Information System. In case of MIS reporting, we discussed about receivables, payables, cost center reports, ratio analysis, cash and fund flow statements, and exception reports. Receivable basically are from debtors, sometimes it may be from creditors also. So you can analyze your receivables according to the due date, according to the overdue days. You can arrange, sort the receivable, ascending order, descending order, amount wise increasing, amount wise decreasing, party wise increasing, party wise decreasing. Similarly, you can do these things with payables also. Cost center, what is the cost center? We discussed about cost center that it is one more dimension for all the transactions, that is transactions of income, expenses, asset and liability. We can prepare vertical wise profit and loss and balance sheet using cost center reports. For example, we are dealing in three different segments: footwear, cement and gold. We can prepare a profit and loss as well as balance sheet according to these three segments. Ratio analysis is again a very useful tool for analysis of data. Ratio analysis can be used by management as well as auditors, where ready-made ratios are available in Tally. For example, net profit ratio, current ratio, quick ratio, etc. Cash/fund flow information. It is again a very something near and dear to every management, because people are interested in knowing their cash/fund position. Fund stands for working capital, that is the difference between current assets and current liabilities. So cash flow statement basically shows us the movement of cash during a particular period. By default it is prepared on monthly basis, but you can get a report for any number of days starting from any date and ending on any date. Exception reports shows us exceptional things. Exceptional things means debtors having credit balance, creditors having debit balance, negative stock, negative batch, optional vouchers, etc. Then we discussed about internet-based capabilities, remote login, emails, control center and support center. Remote login is a facility feature provided by Tally where you can access the data remotely, and the data stored anywhere in the world can be accessed from anywhere in the world. For example, you are sitting in Mumbai and your data stored in Delhi, you can access it very easily, and you need not have valid license at one location. That is quite possible. You need valid license at only one place, and the other place may not have valid Tally license, but only internet connection is required. You can definitely use remote login. Emails can be sent directly from Tally. Tally provides the facility of sending the emails. You can email any Tally reports to anybody right from Tally itself. You need not open your email account. Control center is again a way of administrating Tally software. You can administer Tally software very easily using control center. Support center is a way of providing help, guidance to the user. You can raise a ticket from support center and you can get your problem solved. Then we discussed about data security. In data security we discussed 3 points: access control, Tally Vault and disallow opening in educational mode. Access control is a way of controlling user access. For example, a data entry operator should not be able to view balance sheet, should not have any access to profit and loss account. So such type of access can be controlled from here. You can prevent voucher alteration, you can prevent voucher deletion to specific users. This is also possible through access control. Tally Vault. What is a Tally Vault? Tally Vault is a system of protecting the data by encrypting it. It is one more level of security. You can use Tally Vault security as enhanced measure of security. If you wish to protect the data, you can use Tally Vault. Disallow opening in educational mode. If this option is set to yes, your data will be disallowed to open in educational mode. Tally data will open only in licensed version. And lastly, we discussed about goods and services tax. We discussed about settings, accounting and e-filing. So this was about today's discussion. I hope you must have learned something new today and you must have gained some knowledge. So friends, I am thanking you all for patient hearing. Also, I am thanking Board of Studies for giving me this opportunity of being amongst you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day and all the best.